we didn't have a car to show. We were saying that we were going to build a car like this.
Right.
And then we started it, and Katsu was showing all the process. And, day by day, people were like getting interested.
So thanks for joining us. I know you guys are busy. You've had probably a full schedule here at SEMA so far. We're at the SEMA show. How's the show been so far?
It's been great. I mean, we have 2 cars here. Both of the cars are in a great location.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of people seeing the car.
Yeah.
Congratulating us, and they're liking the cars.
Yeah.
We have a lot of coverage.
Yeah.
On social
I saw already. Like last night, people are posting a bunch of cars. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Especially the blue car.
Yeah.
The location is, I think, one of the best locations in at SEMA.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great.
So tell us about the blue car. What car? Explain to us a little bit about the blue one.
The blue car is obviously an R34. It is a built by Legends full Restomod build. The engine, or it's powered by mines. Assembly was done by mines, but before that, all the chassis work, restoration of the body, paintwork, all was done at Garage Yoshida.
Mm-hmm.
And the interior was also done by a company called Rokuzero, and that we work with in Japan. So it is a full Restomod.
Mm-hmm. So is Rokuzero the guys that did the ultra suede finish that you guys were posted about?
We talked to the manufacturing company of the fabric, which is Toray. They own the brand Ultra Suede and also Alcantara.
Oh, okay.
They're basically the same material. They just call it differently.
I see.
In different regions.
I see.
We were able to talk to Toray, and they were very supportive of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So they made some custom fabrics for us, and we provide the fabric to Rokuzero, and they do all the reupholstery,
so
cutting it.
Toray is like big time though. They are a big time, like
they are.
Yeah,
they are.
I mean, they're not some small shop, and they're a public company. Obviously, why did they choose to work with such small? Yeah, like no offense, but like it's a very small, right? Like how did you get them to get on board?
I think they did have some idea about getting into niche markets, including they've been in automotive market for a long time, but they were looking for some ideas, and we went to them, and we introduced ourselves, and we explained what we were trying to do. We were trying to not revive, but what do we say? Reintroduce.
Yeah.
Some of the older Japanese cars in a different way than it has been.
I see.
Introduced to the market. We were reviving an old 25-year-old, 30-year-old car, and we wanted to present it in a more up to date way. And we told them about who we were working with, what kind of car we wanted to create, and they liked the idea that we were reviving an old nostalgic car.
Oh, so they came on board because they wanted to. They sort of jived with your vision of bringing old Japanese cars to the present.
And also we also, this is one of our important concepts, but we wanted to focus on the people that we work with. So it wasn't just about, let's say, the Built by Legends brand. It was important for us to present all the people that we work with, like mines, like Garage Yoshida or Rokuzero.
Yeah.
So they liked our concept.
Cool. And the what else about the blue car, the blue R34? Can you tell us about?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, the interior is all custom. A lot of the engine bay, of course, it's been restored. A lot of the little parts that we use are actually unique to the BBL builds.
Cool, cool. For those who don't know, you guys are the co-founders of BBL, Built by Legends. Can you tell us about like what your roles are, each of you, both of you guys, and what you do at BBL? You have different roles.
Yeah, they overlap.
Yeah, you
A
do
lot.
everything because it's the two of you guys.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of partners that you work with, obviously. But
Yes.
what are your different roles? Sort of do it like a quick intro, like who you are and what you do.
So what I usually do is, talk to the partners, go through what we want to do in a brief way overall. And then I usually speak about the finances, how much it's going to cost, all that. While Katsu usually takes care of all the creative stuff, right? All the
Yeah.
design.
Yeah, design related stuff. Yeah, like there are many small things that you have to design. So I usually work with the Yoshi, who's our art director, who also designs all the Motorhead magazine stuff and other, he does work for like HKS
Yeah.
and other brands as well. But yeah, so I usually work with Yoshi on various small bits of the build.
Yeah, yeah. You've always had a great eye for cool looking cars and style. I've worked with you for a very long time. I've known you for a long time. Where do you think that that eye comes from? Yeah.
Well, I grew up in the UK,
Yeah.
and later on I lived in Australia. So maybe it's not just Japan. So I think that has to do with a lot of the creative part that I kind of pursue.
Yeah. What were your like earliest inspirations though for like visually? I mean, I know you like European cars, right? But you like
Yeah.
JDM cars as well.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, your dad's also a car enthusiast as well.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think that like evolved and happened?
Yeah, well, I used to go to a lot of motor shows in the UK when I was really small.
Yeah.
And my dad used to have, friends that drove like vintage Ferraris and, British Roadsters and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So maybe that's where, I got interested in, vintage stuff from very early age.
Yeah. And you grew up in various places, so do you think that influenced your taste as well?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I was interested in the Japanese stuff as well. So, because my dad used to, he was subscribed to Car Graphic, and we got every new issue every month.
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to looking at those magazines from Japan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very also interested in the Japanese automotive scene as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and when growing up as a teen, I think in the 90s when we were growing up, that's when like the Japanese car companies had a lot of energy and
Yeah.
funds to create some of these awesome cars. And one of them being the Skyline GTR, right?
Yeah, the late 80s and then early 90s
Yeah.
were like the decade that Japanese manufacturers were pumping out all these now very, interesting or very popular cars, even now.
Right.
Right.
So Masa, you grew up, all over the place as well. You
Well, actually, Japan or
in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah. Well, you had 2 stints in Canada, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So when you came back from Canada, that was what, 89, right?
88.
88. Were you shocked at, seeing like these Japanese cars, or did you sort of keep up with like what was happening in Japan when you were?
I kept up with it.
Yeah.
Even before.
Mm-hmm.
So I was excited about being there. And then, it was still, 1988. So a lot of the cars, haven't debuted yet, right?
Yeah.
But, Honda was coming out with all these Type Rs. That just started then.
Yeah.
Right? And, the S13 was a new chassis.
Mm-hmm. You had an S chassis.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And, the GTR came out. Right from the start in Japan, when the R32 came out, it was the king of the road.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was exciting. It was exciting to live those years as young as I was.
Yeah.
Although I wasn't able to afford an R32 back
Yeah.
then. Even now, maybe.
Now they're too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, eventually, we start working together.
Right.
Tell us about that story, where, I credit, Katsu for actually discovering Best Motoring for us, right? Because you brought that deal to the table, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So tell us about that story where, at the beginning, I mean, honestly, I don't think we understood, I don't know about you, but we understood anything about creating a content product, right? We kind of like had to learn as we went.
We all were.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
I
back in the
didn't know
day, we
anything.
didn't have Premiere Pro, right?
No.
It took,
No, I wish we had.
but how did that happen? Best Motoring International.
So we all started Zigzag Asia, right?
Yes.
And then I was in charge of the automotive section.
Yeah.
And back then I used to have an S2000, which just came out.
Yeah.
And
Another story.
Yeah.
Another story. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used that car to like create our own content for our website, and I was like reporting all the, tuning that I did with the spoon and Amuse and the interior.
Yep.
We actually did the interior with Izmi. They're still around, but I changed the black interior to a tan leather interior, and it had a black exterior. But yeah, so.
But all those contents were created in pictures.
In
text.
And text.
Back then.
Right.
Yeah.
It was for a website.
Which did great though, right?
Yeah.
We had all that positive feedback on that, so we were like, we should continue doing
Exactly.
this. Yeah.
So the concept of the website was to show everyone the pop culture of Japan, and we had like gourmet, fashion, and everything else, and the automotive section was the most popular section. So we were looking for more content, and obviously. I was watching Best Motoring. We were all watching Best Motoring.
VHS tapes.
VHS, and we also knew that it had a cult following in overseas. It was being ripped and uploaded, or not even uploaded. That didn't even
That didn't
exist.
happen for
It
a
was
while.
just being ripped on
Yeah,
VCDs.
because we started.
On discs, right? And they were sharing.
Yeah,
them.
we started on VHS,
Yes.
right? So that didn't even exist. But I knew that
CDs. Yeah, I remember those.
but the copied VHS were rented at the Japanese video shops.
That's right.
Even
without
in the US,
permission.
yeah.
Yes.
So I knew that.
Yeah.
Because my family used to live in LA back then. So we used to go to Yaohan.
Yeah.
And there was there were video shops.
Yes.
And we knew that those videos were being rented.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we kind of started how to get in touch with the producers, and went to Best Motoring and met Tanabe-san, who's the producer back then, and he kind of got the idea and let us use the franchise. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think initially we were introducing some content out of Best Motoring.
Yeah, we weren't necessarily
in pictures
creating
and text, right?
Yeah, we weren't even creating the videos.
And then
first.
after a while, they kind of wanted us to introduce their content as video.
Yeah, we were just kind of like reviewing their videos and using some of their stills on our website.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't even remember.
Initially, we were doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the day you came to work and you said you totaled your S2000, though. That was shocking.
So I mean, he owned an S2000 for a short while.
Yeah. And then that eventually, became Best Motoring International, and then eventually Hot Version International. So we created 30 full-length DVDs.
30 plus, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then we founded GTChannel together.
Right.
And all those DVDs went onto GTChannel, and then GTChannel became to what GTChannel became. And then you guys founded Built by Legends. A couple of years passed after that, and then you what inspired you guys to actually get into building cars from like creating content? That was
actually in between that we knew we wanted to do something automotive, but since we were from the content production background, we initially actually made apps.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we actually made a camera app.
The Otomo app.
Yeah, Otomo app.
Yeah,
that was able to take pictures of cars and mask license plates automatically.
Yeah.
Which was an issue back then because people were taking pictures of cars they found on the road, someone's car, and it was kind of, at least in Japan, it was taken as invasion of privacy.
It was frowned upon to
because you post pictures of cars with license plates.
Yeah.
So, and then when people used to mask the license plates on their own, they just, even if the car was a very nice car, how they masked the license plate kind of
looked janky. Yeah.
Blew it all. So we just came up with an idea to do that, and that actually was a fairly good product that we were able to produce. But still, we were thinking about what we really can do, and when we were, going back to what we've been doing. What we want to do, and all the people that we were able to consult. We came up with the initial idea of Built by Legends, and we knew the people that created tuning cars.
Yes,
all the Japanese tuners, and also. Yeah, and also I think we were a bit concerned with all the cars that were starting to be exported out of Japan that weren't in great shape.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to reintroduce those cars as they looked and performed when they debuted.
Yeah.
So that's where the restoration comes in. And then plus the tuners that we knew. And then also, Katsu was aware of the Restomod scene that was growing outside of Japan, in Europe, in the US.
Yeah.
And we were wondering, there's no Restomod companies in Japan.
Yeah.
So, we decided to create one.
I saw somewhere recently, was it last week, in an article mentioning Built by Legends as the singer of Skylines. Where did that? Did you see that?
No.
You didn't see that one. I think it was. What was that one? Car
Buzz.
And was saying is that sort of like a direction that you guys were striving for?
I mean,
Katsu, what are you thinking there?
I don't know, because Singer is, I mean, you know, they're kind of like the pinnacle
Yeah.
of Restomod. So it's great that we've been, you know, being said that we're the JDM version of Singer, but I don't think we are, you know, I don't think so, because the direction we're doing, because, you know, it could be, it's in the Restomod, you know, there's so many layers
Yes.
and there's so many different types of Restomods.
Yes. Okay.
And ours is, you know, from the outside, you wouldn't notice that it's a Restomod. It's because it looks just like a Skyline.
Okay. Yeah.
Many Restomods has different headlights,
Yeah.
different tail lights, you know, and, you know, you can, you know, easily see that it's been, you know,
Modified.
modified.
Yes. Okay.
But ours is more pure, I think.
More pure in terms of restored to the original, close to the original.
Looks close.
Looks
to the
close.
original.
Okay. Yeah.
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 And that's what we're actually pursuing. So
Okay.
it's a little different, I think.
I see. I see.
But,
So
but at the same time, I mean, Singer had been very generous to give us a tour of their company
Right.
once,
yeah.
and we know what they do, the extensive work that goes into their cars, you know.
Yeah.
So we were just amazed
Right.
with what they do
Yeah.
to create one car, and the volume of cars that they are able to create at such quality.
Yeah.
So I mean, in terms of production, we're not even close to Singer.
Okay.
And also, you know, when we had the concept, we were also able to visit Icon. So, you know, we had the idea, or we saw what people were doing.
Yeah.
Even in the, you know, the companies that were leading the Restomod
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think we're even close to it yet.
I see.
A lot
But
of
is
the
that
companies.
is that sort of where you guys wanna? Are you striving for that, or are you sticking more to
Partially, yes.
restoration?
Yeah, part of it, yes. I mean, even with the cars that we build, you know, although we try to keep it as original, as authentic as possible, sometimes we are forced to produce, manufacture parts.
Yeah.
Because,
They don't exist anymore.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that sense, it changes from the original.
I see. Yeah.
But we like to stick to the original
I
parts
see.
as possible.
What's been the biggest like challenge in terms of you know, building? What's been the biggest challenge for you guys so far, though? Like you mentioned the process of you know, restoring a car. What's the biggest challenge?
Yeah, parts procurement,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important or difficult things that we have to go through. Yeah. And that's why we would never be able to raise our production volume.
Just because of the lack of
Yeah.
original parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you know, we're not striving to produce, you know, 100, 200 cars per year. You know,
I see. Yeah.
We'd rather stick to a lot less than that to be able to really work on each car.
I see. Yeah. What's the build process like from start to finish when you, I guess you get a base car, right, to delivery? What does that look like from A to Z?
Once we or the customer has a base car, there is a rather long process of discussing what we're really going to do with the car, what the final car is going to look like, you know, what the customer wants.
Okay.
And then the process starts by disassembling the car. So the car gets disassembled to its bare chassis.
Yeah.
The interior, the engine, everything's all taken apart.
Yeah.
And the body and chassis goes to Garage Ashita. The engine goes to mines. and the interior goes to our interior guys. And in between, we start the designing or discussions about, let's say, color scheme. And each process takes a fairly long time to finalize.
Is each car a bespoke car, or do you sort of have a set menu for R32 and 33 and 34?
We do have a set menu for the engine, which are all built by Mines. A set menu and a selection in terms of output, and that really depends on what kind of block we use. And then also the exterior, obviously, the color scheme. We also have on our full builds, we have an option of inserting a what we call the ghost stripe, which is the stripe that were in the Mines cars. It's very subtle, very hard to see. The white car at SEMA does have that ghost stripe, but I don't think people will notice it.
The two-tone, right? The one that you can barely see, right?
Yeah, it depends on the light. Yes. Yeah, really.
Well, that's a cool Easter egg, though. Like only people who know can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also the interior takes a long time for us to design, do some renderings, and talk with the customer and finalize the process. Yeah.
Why'd you select Mines as one of the? I mean, they are legendary, but what's so special about Mines?
Well, they are legendary, right? And then also, our concept of keeping things simple, keeping things to the original as possible, resonates, or it's the same as what Mines been doing
all these years.
Yeah. Their concept is, keeping their engine simple. They'd like to keep the original parts as much as possible. Their cars runs on standard computers, ECUs.
Yes.
If you look at our cars or any car that Mines had really tuned, if you look at the engine bay, it looks rather normal. Rather stock.
Yeah, it's very OE-ish.
You really have to look into it to see if it's a modified engine or a tuned engine. So I mean that concept resonated with ours, or our concept resonated with theirs. That's why we work with
I think it also bus motoring. It has to do a lot with bus motoring, because remember we had the actual real demo car in the States
at Streets
of Willow, and we've been doing that kind of production work for them over the years, and we have a special relationship with Niigata. And we've been looking up on what they were doing for decades. So I think that has to do a lot.
Yeah, you guys definitely have earned his trust, as sort of evolution of Mines, I feel like, right? Because you're sort of offering something that Mines alone can't do, or hasn't been able to do, up until now. And it's sort of a Mines resurrection at this point, right? Yeah.
I guess it is true that we were able to see up close their cars, their legendary R34 demo car, right? I mean, we had it in our garage for a while.
Yeah, we had it in our garage in Torrance. Yeah, we were driving it around.
So I guess that is true.
Yeah. How about any other brands that you guys have worked with and been close to? What are you just doing GTRs, or are you thinking about other makes and models?
Well, actually, right from the start, Built by Legends, we started with the GTR and a Civic Honda, which we are working with Spoon.
Another legendary tuner.
Yes. Yeah. So we are in the midst of building an EG6, and an EK9. The EG6 is our more or less a development car.
Okay.
So that's been taking a lot of time to complete, and it's not completed yet. But the EK that we were working with is a commission car.
Okay.
So
It's a
we are
customer car,
hoping
yeah.
to have it completed by early next year.
Cool. How is it different working with Spoon and Mines? Are both different type of companies? I think there's some commonalities, right? Because they're both not. They keep it OE-ish, like they're not very. I would say flashy tuners, right? So do you think that kind of concept has been accepted well in the US, that you guys are working with like Spoon and Mines instead of some of the other Japanese tuners?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. And yeah, that's the common. How do you say it? That's where the both companies are common.
Yeah.
They like to keep it original. They like to keep it simple. I think Spoon more. They come from a motorsports.
Yeah.
So, if you talk to Ichishima-san, it's always not about speed. It's about endurance.
Yes.
Because he likes, endurance racing.
Right.
So, the car can be fairly fast, but it has to last,
Yeah.
The most important thing is that it doesn't break.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
Which is very important.
very important
Yeah.
for endurance racing.
Yes.
It's not about all speed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why the OEs work with him, because endurance is a super important part of OE cars.
Yeah.
Right. Not about going fast, on a quarter mile.
It's also interesting when you hear about the Mines cars. Mines cars are used by OE tire manufacturer to test their new tires, because their cars don't break down.
I see.
And when they do like durability tests of tires, they put it on Mines cars and just keep it running for 10 hours
Oh, wow. Okay.
straight, and the car doesn't break.
Yeah. Why doesn't Mines do any racing or motorsports?
They don't do racing, but they used to do a lot of time attacks in Japan.
Yeah.
I think in the early days, Mines used to support a lot of the racing teams that were racing in the Japanese
With the
series.
computers or?
Mostly with computers,
I
yes.
see. Yeah. Cool. What? I mean, obviously they make a lot of parts, different parts that they, engines, and they have their own, suspension setup and things like that. But they're famous for mostly their ECU tuning. Would you say? Yeah. Do you think that has something to do with sort of their popularity, or their why you guys are working with them? Is it because they're computers, or is it because of their overall sort of their quality of products?
I think it's all of it. If you look at the cars that they build, or our cars, it's really a simple setup.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated, which means that it doesn't have lots of parts to break, lots of areas to have issues with. So it's easier to approach, let's say.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything drastic
Right.
to the cars.
I see.
And then also, I'd like to point out that the engines they build, they do implement components from a lot of other companies. They even use HKS parts. They use Toda parts.
Right.
They use Tomy parts. But they do a lot of modifications to them.
Yeah, I see. Oh, okay.
In-house.
Right.
Yeah. So they may use the same piston, but it's not the same piston.
I see. Yeah, it's customized.
Yeah.
To their specs. Yeah.
I think the Mines engine is a very important part of our car, because the response,
Yeah.
and the power,
Yeah.
and the balance. So I think Nakayama-san, who's the engine builder for Mines, is doing a really good job, and I think he's like the only guy that can, make that kind of engine. That doesn't break.
Yeah.
It doesn't have 800 or 900 horsepower, but the sweet spot is like 600.
Yeah.
We're thinking.
Right.
And the responsiveness and the power, I think, is just super balanced.
Yeah.
And
he's an artist, right?
he's an artist,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. How do you, I think the, social media and the internet has helped, your marketing and you're getting your brand out. What do you think of how to utilize social media and reaching the global audience through social?
If there wasn't a social media platform, we wouldn't exist, I don't think, because we rely so much on these platforms to get our everyday posts out there. So back when we started the brand, we kind of started from zero.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have a car to build. So we kind of, made a social account and just posted what we were doing every day.
Yeah.
And then, we get a car, we dismantle it, we go to your garage Yoshida. So we kind of like reported every step of the build for the first car.
Right.
And we can call it the prototype, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of helped us build a brand, I think.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have anything else.
Right.
Yeah, we weren't sure how people will perceive the brand initially. So, the first cars, we didn't have a car to show.
Yeah.
We were saying that we were going to build a car like this.
Right.
And then we started it.
Yeah.
And Katsu was showing all the process. And, day by day, people were like getting interested. People were getting excited about the build, and they were imagining what the car would look like because we didn't have a car.
Right.
So, but once we had a car to show, I think it was more quicker, faster for people to catch on.
Right. Right.
So once we had the R32 running, once we had the EG6 running,
Yeah.
getting the word out about what we were doing or what we were going to do was very important, and Katsu was handling all of that.
Yeah.
And day by day, we were getting more followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The concept was pretty clear from the beginning, though, right? So you had a direction that you wanted to go.
Yes, for us.
Yeah.
And since we were in the production business, we had a lot of friends that were kind of like influencers. So we would like to thank Larry Chen.
Yeah.
People like Dino.
Yeah. Shout out to Larry and Dino. Yeah.
They kind of helped us right from the beginning, where we had nothing to show.
Yeah.
And they made content out of the small things that we made.
Right.
So which really helped, I think.
Yeah. How's the current JDM scene, going, happening right now? I mean, we're here in the U.S. We're here at the SEMA show, but you guys have been to the Tokyo Auto Salon and talks with many of the Japanese tuner shops. You have connections to all those guys. Like how is the Japanese market these days?
I think Auto Salon is still growing each year, the attendance. So I think it's getting bigger, not smaller. But I don't know. I think people like the Japanese builders like Mad Lane that builds coolest Porsches out of Japan. Those kind of new generation builders are coming out, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with Top Rank here in the U.S.? They're selling your cars here in the
Yes.
U.S.
Top Rank is our distributor in North America. So they help us bring in the cars. They help us, distribute the cars to our customers. They also help us, in marketing and sales.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are our good partners. And Yaska, who leads Top Rank USA,
Yeah.
I mean, we've known him for a long time too.
Yeah.
Back from the best morning days.
Yeah. He was sitting there yesterday. He came here for a
Okay.
second. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
You should say the Motorex days.
Oh, yes. I can say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
I didn't know. Huh? I wasn't sure. Okay. Yeah. Motor X.
Yeah. Motorex days. The notorious Motorex. Yeah. No, those were the days, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
funny because
those are
like
the
all the guys that we were hanging out at Motorex are still, a lot of them are still around.
Yeah.
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 You know.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the, I mean, how many cars have you built so far? Like which, I want to ask, like, which one has been like the most meaningful one for you guys out of all the cars that you've built?
Ooh. Well, I mean, the cars that we've built so far have all been meaningful. It was each step,
Great answer.
Well, then we started with the R32.
Yeah.
R33 and then the R34.
Yeah.
And then, we are going back to an R33 again. We're building a few R34s. So far we built five
Completed
cars.
five, yeah.
5 cars completed. And then there's about 3, 4 in production. Builds,
Okay.
BBL builds. And then there's a few cars that we are also restoring.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another business or
Part of the business.
part of the business that we do is we build the full Built by Legends Restomod built
Yeah.
cars, and also we work with Garage Ashita or mines to do restoration.
Okay.
So
What's the difference between a big
Garage
BBL car?
Ashita is more involved with that because it's a restoration rather than a modification.
I see.
So it's more restoring the body, the chassis to its original.
Okay.
And people, when people buy their GTRs, they are obviously at least 25 years old,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Because of the 25-year-old rule here
So,
in the U.S.
Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be fixed. So we do, in conjunction with Garage Ashita, we do the restoration. And for Garage Ashita to take care of overseas customers, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Because they are a small team
Yeah.
first, and then also there is a language barrier.
Yeah.
So we help them out with that.
Yeah. Okay.
So the difference is one is a restoration and one is a Restomod, which includes a lot of
Modern
tuning
updates.
modifications.
Yeah. What are the modern updates that you do to the BBL cars though compared to regular restoration?
The engine, suspension brakes, and the interior. And also some of the exterior parts, especially on the R34,
Yeah.
we have a original front bumper
Yeah.
for the BBL Restomod builds.
How long have you guys been doing? When was it when you started BBL?
2019.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years now. I mean, it must have. I mean, I can't imagine trying to build a car. I mean, you guys are so brave to go into this. Would you have done it if you knew it was going to be this way? I mean, if you can go back, for example, if you can go back to 5 years ago, well, I mean, what kind of advice do you think you would tell yourself?
I think we would have done it the same way.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
that it's interesting because we really started. We had the concept a little while ago, but we really started to take action in 2019, and then COVID came. So
yeah.
I think, let's say the R32, the completion of the R32 would have been a bit earlier if it weren't for COVID.
Right.
But we were bummed out that a lot of the things were delayed
Yeah.
because of it.
Yeah.
But also we had the time to think it over, redo.
I see.
So it was actually probably
Yeah, I think we were lucky.
good, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
it
really?
was,
That
it
we
was
had
lucky.
time.
Yeah, it was lucky for us because everything kind of stopped when we had to like make the car
Right.
and develop the car. So we had time to really focus on the development and the build.
Yeah.
So I think we were lucky.
Yeah, and the companies that we worked with had time too because
Yeah.
they were
Everything kind of slowed down
Yeah.
for you. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Oh, man, that's a good way
so
to.
it worked out in the end.
Yeah. How about new projects? What are you guys working on right now? Any announcements?
Yes, we are working on new projects. I mean, each build, although we do have a standard menu, each build is different.
Yeah.
And also, each build, each car, we'd like to improve on. Yeah, and then we don't have an announcement yet, but we are working on a few projects that we'd like to announce when we are sure that we can really do it.
Okay.
And we're working on many new original parts.
Okay. Good.
So yeah, it's going to be fun, I think.
Yeah.
The car's going to get better.
Yes.
And continue to working on the Skyline and the Civics.
Yes.
Yeah. That you're going to stick to those two cars for now.
Yes.
But we have a lot of requests
Yeah. Okay.
to
Yeah.
do the Mark IV Supra.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we actually have a couple of,
NSXs.
Oh, okay. Well,
we have to do
yeah.
as well. So
I see. Okay, that's good. I mean, I didn't know that. Yeah, so it's good. Yeah, good. That's awesome. So you guys are sort of like in between like the Restomod and the restoration, right? So there's this one side is like innovation, right? You're trying to like go forward, although you have a concept that you want to sort of stick to what the original look and the concept is, but the other side is like restoration, right? How do you like balance those two, like between innovation and keeping the traditional, OG ways?
Well, obviously they are connected.
Uh-huh.
For innovation, you have to have a good base. And so you have to create the base by restoring.
Right.
So restoration is the first process, right? So they're not really separate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good way to think about it. Have you had time to walk around the SEMA floor a little bit?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Really,
No. What has your schedule been so far here at SEMA?
Oh. We're here with all the members from Garage Ashita.
Okay.
So and then initially we kind of took care of all the roll-ins of both cars.
Yeah.
And then we had to do some final refinements on the cars
Yeah.
on scene. So
I see. Yeah.
been busy doing that. And then we were able to walk around for a bit yesterday. So
Yeah.
but we're looking forward to walking around SEMA
I see.
today.
plus, we're looking forward to meeting new customers, and we have several meetings as
Yeah.
well.
Good. So
Clients.
the feedback has been pretty excellent as
Yes.
far as I've. But how does it feel being able to like directly hear those?
I mean,
positive,
it's
stuff.
so special having two cars in one show.
Yeah.
We haven't had that. It's our first time. So it's been great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the largest aftermarket, event in the world, and you have two cars, and one of them's on center stage. It's sort of a dream, huh? Yeah.
Thank
Definitely.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, RJ
Yeah.
Devera.
Thank you, RJ. Yeah, but congratulations. I mean, you guys have done a great job with this project. Katsu, we asked everybody. I'm going to ask Masa too, but on this podcast, we asked everybody. This is our last question. What is your creative drive?
I don't know. Looking through old stuff, probably. Like books and magazines.
Yeah. That's where you get your inspiration from?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I do that a lot, I think. Spend money on books, like photograph books. Yeah.
Masa, how about you?
Wow. Should have told us that question before. Give us time to think. I don't know. I mean, I guess talking with people, be it friends, be it people that are older than me, or younger than me.
Yeah.
Because when you have a conversation, you find things, you find new things.
Yeah.
And that gives you ideas.
Right.
That gives you the motivation or curiosity to seek things. So yeah, maybe having conversation, talking to people.
Yeah. Well, you're at the right place right here. You can at the SEMA show, obviously you can meet new clients, which you can get a lot of feedback from, and partners, and there's everybody here, right, at this event. So, well, thanks for joining me on this podcast. This is a new project by Racer Podcast, and I know you guys are busy at the show and everything, but taking the time to join me. Yeah, really appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching and listening to The Creative Drive, where we offer listeners a candid look into the minds of automotive creators and their journeys. The Creative Drive is available on all podcast platforms, and we have a bunch of awesome guests lined up for you guys, so please subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. If you're interested in partnering with us, or if you have any feedback, please email us at podcasts@racer.com. That's podcasts with an S @racer.com. The Creative Drive is produced by Racer Studios. Thanks to my producer, Molly Binks, creative director, George Tamayo, Brian Conzone, and it's edited by Andrew Snyder. I'm your host, Taro Koki. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you soon.